The manhwa starts with the goddess asking the protagonist a favor. She wanted him to save this dying world. Determined, he did his very best despite overwhelming odds. After the brutal battle, he wonders if the fight is truly over and searches for his missing teammates. A heavy stomp crushes the ground, splattering blood as the protagonist struggles to stay conscious. His eyes flutter weakly, stained with blood, showing his battered state. He realizes his body refuses to obey him, trapped in immobility. Despite the bright sky above, he feels overwhelming sleepiness creeping in. The protagonist struggles to stay awake, feeling his body weaken and his consciousness fading despite his desperate will to keep fighting. He acknowledges his need for sleep, surrendering to the overwhelming exhaustion that threatens to pull him under even if only briefly. A system-like message details the protagonist's repeated experiences of intense light, death, and cycles of regression, possession, and reincarnation. He reflects bitterly on having endured 55 cycles of this torment, questioning how many more times he must repeat this exhausting ordeal. The protagonist bitterly reflects that this round was just another pointless, grueling cycle. He acknowledges that this time the ordeal lasted quite long, feeling the weight of the extended suffering. Weakly, he admits to himself that it was indeed a long time. Suddenly, the radiant goddess appears, questioning if that is truly all he has to say. The goddess proposes trying reincarnation again, but the protagonist angrily demands that she stop immediately. It is revealed that this expressionless being before him is, surprisingly, a goddess. He realizes she is the one who called him here and the culprit who kidnapped him. He recalls that long ago, the goddess kidnapped him and brought him to this place. The protagonist dies once more, his body breaking apart as the harsh message "you died" confirms his fate in this endless cycle. He reflects on the 55 cycles of regression, possession, and reincarnation he has endured, overwhelmed by the torment and unable to recall how he died each time. Despite all the suffering, he admits he never found any clue about what the mysterious Erfurt truly means, or why he must keep repeating this ordeal. Frustrated, he angrily tells the goddess he can no longer continue and demands she stop forcing him to endure this endless torment. The goddess confirms the treatment for mind and body is working normally, while the protagonist expresses frustration at how impossible she is to talk to. He admits that although his body and mind fully heal after each death, the painful memories always return vividly, gnawing at his sanity after 55 cycles. The accumulated pain from so many deaths has pushed him far beyond his limit, leaving him emotionally exhausted. The goddess suggests starting preparations for another regression cycle, but he angrily refuses, insisting he is done with this torment. The protagonist suddenly admits he was joking, clutching his head as if overwhelmed by his own words. The goddess reacts with shock and confusion, her eyes wide as she asks what he means. She calmly tells him he has done his best in the role entrusted to him and has more than earned the right to return to his original world. Stunned, the protagonist asks if it is really over despite failing to save the world 55 times, while the goddess explains that the process mattered more than the result, so he no longer needs to worry. The goddess declares she will send the protagonist back to his original world right away. The protagonist urgently stops her, insisting he still has many questions that need to be answered. She explains that everything he has accumulated will connect into a great power, acknowledging his help. He angrily complains about being kicked out so abruptly despite her words of encouragement. A blinding, radiant light envelopes everything, signaling a powerful transition. The protagonist groans in pain as the intense light forces him to awaken, struggling through the overwhelming brightness. He painfully acknowledges his stomach hurting as he sits up, reflecting on the passage of time. 18 months have passed since he returned to reality. He grips a door handle firmly, preparing to face the world again after this long period. He had undergone so many cycles of regression, possession, and reincarnation that real life became a blur, but slowly, his memories began to resurface. He realizes the goddess had kidnapped him the day before his military enlistment, explaining the strange circumstances surrounding his disappearance. 18 months pass, and he is finally discharged from service, marking a long-awaited return to normal life. Despite being back, the memories of his torment still haunt him, fueling his frustration and anger the more he thinks about it. He realizes this is his 6th time doing military service across the cycles, though it feels somewhat different from the real experience. Adjusting to modern life is extremely difficult, and he blames the goddess for his struggles while worrying about his bleak future and uncertain internship. The phone rings, and he groans before reluctantly responding that he's coming. He reads a message asking if they are going out again today, making him consider his next move. The protagonist reads a message from a friend calling him a psycho and telling him he's old and exhausted, while the protagonist thinks he should really cut down on drinking. The friend mocks him by asking if he's scared, but the protagonist denies being scared, feeling provoked and annoyed by the teasing. Despite the irritation, The protagonist resigns himself to the situation, deciding that it's fine to tolerate the friend's provocation for now. He recalls a close friend who looked out for him when he was suddenly sent to the army after returning to this world, feeling grateful for that support. A friend jokes about drinks but quickly shifts to saying he has a discharge present, catching the protagonist's full attention and sparking curiosity. The protagonist's thoughts focus on the idea of a present, wondering what it could be and why it was mentioned now. A familiar voice calls out to the protagonist, signaling a friendly reunion or meeting. The friend happily reveals he ordered the same treat for the protagonist and is introduced as Ju Yinwer, his senior in the army but younger in age. They laugh about how Yinwer looks fine after drinking so much yesterday, with Yinwer teasing that he's still young unlike the protagonist. The protagonist asks what the present is, but Yinwer insists on some build-up, saying it would hurt his feelings to jump straight to it. The protagonist says he had fun and suggests hanging out again next time before starting to leave, prompting Yinwer to call out to him. Yinwer reminds the protagonist about a game he mentioned before called Record Project, hinting that it's connected to the present. A friend proudly shows an RP membership card at level 2, explaining it provides gear that lets the protagonist play role-playing games at home with level 2 synchronization support. He urges the protagonist to accept the card as a present without feeling pressured, emphasizing his genuine intention. The friend reveals the card's value is around 500, but insists it's fine since it's a gift for the protagonist, addressing him warmly. Jokingly, the friend offers to be a private security guard at the protagonist's home, teasing about having many empty rooms and inviting him to move in for real. The young man admits he found a job starting tomorrow and won't have time for games, stressing his family's financial struggles might force him to take a second job. His friend's eyes gleam as he agrees that making money should come first in life. The friend insists working a part-time job is more sensible than wasting time on games, while teasing the young man for lacking romance. The young man angrily questions if romance or games put food on the table and grabs his friend's collar, demanding to finish his point. The friend excitedly claims that playing RP could lead to hitting the jackpot. He emphasizes the potential to earn hundreds of millions, catching the protagonist's attention with the serious promise of vast wealth. The protagonist reacts with surprise and curiosity, questioning the claim about hundreds of millions. Suddenly, the protagonist moves quickly, grabbing the friend by the collar, demanding an explanation. The friend asks if the protagonist knows that Team Zero made RP, but the protagonist admits he's lost from the very start. The friend reveals Michael Welton's will was made public, causing a huge stir by promising to transfer all rights to RP to the first player who clears the game. RP's popularity skyrockets worldwide due to the will, and the value of in-game currency soars as major companies invest in strategy teams. Despite the corporate investments, solo players still have a chance because the condition was set by Michael Welton himself, inspiring the protagonist to give it a try. The protagonist accepts the challenge, feeling compelled to try after his friend's efforts and praises him warmly. His friend eagerly proposes they leave right away, surprising the protagonist who responds with confusion. They arrive at the special event zone under a bright sky, marking the beginning of a significant occasion. The protagonist is overwhelmed by the huge crowd and questions if it's too big, but his friend reassures him it's normal compared to other countries. The friend grabs the protagonist by the collar, insisting they go this way despite the protagonist's discomfort. He explains that their first priority is to buy a guidebook for beginners, while the protagonist questions if he can just start playing without it. The friend insists RP is not a game suited for newcomers, emphasizing the need for proper preparation. He reveals that a veteran player wrote the guidebook to help beginners, admitting he would have quit without it and strongly urges the protagonist to purchase it. The protagonist decides to look through the guidebook's contents first before making a final decision. He reacts with confusion and disbelief, questioning what the guidebook actually is. His friend notices his reaction and asks what's wrong with the book. The protagonist recalls he was excited for this, but now wonders why the guidebook is even present. The protagonist reflects on a question that has troubled him for 2 years, wondering why he was allowed to leave and what it truly meant. He concludes that the reason is clear now. He was never really meant to be free from the start. Suddenly, someone calls out his name, breaking his concentration as he clutches the book tightly. His friend asks why he looks so serious and if he's worried about the challenge, but the protagonist says he actually has an important question. The protagonist asks if the friend knows anything about Team Zero, discovering that everyone knows the name but no one knows the details. He learns the current CEO handles all public relations alone and might be Michael Welton's youngest daughter, while the development team remains strictly confidential. The protagonist suspects Team Zero might be connected to the goddess and questions why the game was created in the first place. He closes his eyes and silently asks himself why all of this exists, feeling the weight of the question deeply. The protagonist's eyes reveal a profound inner turmoil as he reflects on his painful past. He understands that the world he was sent to was no game, but a devastating reality engulfed in flames. He recalls the intense revulsion he felt after committing his first murder, a moment that marked a dark turning point. He remembers the excruciating agony of dying for the first time, underscoring the harshness of his experience. The protagonist is haunted by the vivid despair of having to relive a tormenting life over and over, feeling the crushing weight of failure and endless repetition. He wonders if stepping back into this hellish cycle is truly the right choice, but firmly decides no, believing this might finally end his torment. Holding a guidebook and a card, he asks how long it will take to acquire the gear he was promised, seeking clarity on the challenge ahead. His friend replies it will take about 2 hours with fast delivery and offers to set up the necessary apps on his phone right away to get started. The friend points out that the protagonist should probably discard the crumpled guidebook he's holding, hinting it's no longer needed. He says he'll log in first and asks the protagonist to contact him as soon as an account is made, promising to wait. The protagonist agrees to log in as soon as possible but doubts that hurrying will make the equipment arrive any faster. The protagonist finally receives the package containing the promised gear, marking an important step in his challenge. The protagonist receives a package containing a $5,000 gaming console, signaling an important step in his challenge. He opens the box to reveal the sleek, high-tech equipment neatly arranged and ready for use. Curious, he examines the components closely, considering how they will function in his upcoming experience. He notes that he still has some time before his mother comes home, implying he plans to use this moment wisely. He puts on a glowing wrist device as a precaution, saying it's just in case. Lying down, he activates the VR gear, which powers on with a bright blue light. The system scans his biometric data and brainwaves, confirming the character creation is complete and starting customization. He notices the virtual body feels surprisingly real despite being a mannequin, feeling some heaviness in his hands and feet from the gear. The protagonist wonders why the settings window isn't appearing, feeling confused by the unexpected silence in the system. He suspects a bug, criticizing the game's poor design despite its popularity, but decides to reboot and tries to find the exit button. He attempts to press the exit button on the system interface, hoping to reset the situation. Suddenly, multiple error messages flood the screen, indicating character creation has failed repeatedly, and the system warns about an existing character. Seagulls fly gracefully above, their cries echoing as a symbol of freedom and transition. The soothing sound of waves lapping the shore sets a calm atmosphere, marking the start of a new chapter. The location is revealed as Port City Edlin, grounding the story in a bustling maritime hub. A man stands alone on the pier, quietly acknowledging that it has been a long time since he was last here. The man looks through a window with a shocked expression, then places his gloved hand against the glass, connecting with a memory from his past. He recognizes this moment as exactly how he looked during his final regression, a pivotal and painful time in his life. The blood on his gloved hand reminds him of the violence he endured and inflicted, deepening his reflection on his past. He wonders if the bloodied hand is a tacit message from the goddess, symbolizing a deeper meaning behind his suffering and fate. The protagonist is horrified by the demand to start over, his bloodied hand trembling as he confronts the brutal reality of his endless suffering. A notification sounds, revealing multiple messages from Loafer, persistently asking to be added as a friend with casual greetings. He reacts with a mix of shock and hesitation, unsure how to respond to the sudden and familiar messages. Recognizing that Loafer was Yinwa's nickname, he struggles to figure out how to add a friend, feeling the weight of this unexpected connection. A cheerful voice calls out to Hanbit, breaking the tension. His friend reminds him to contact as soon as he logs in, confidently recognizing him as Yinwa without hesitation. The friend's playful nickname, Luxurious Loafer, lightens the mood. He questions why Hanbit customized his character to look exactly like himself, suggesting few do so, while Hanbit awkwardly admits it just happened. The friend praises the protagonist's character design but wonders about the nickname, which the protagonist doesn't recall setting, prompting the friend to suggest checking the character info. The protagonist's finger points to the nickname Black Dragon, revealing the unexpected and intimidating name assigned to his character. Shocked and panicked, the protagonist struggles to accept the nickname, while the friend laughs at his reaction, finding it amusing. The protagonist demands the nickname be changed immediately, but the friend explains that nicknames are permanently engraved in biometric data and cannot be changed, as warned during character creation. The protagonist panics over the nickname Black Dragon, fearing he might lose his mind, while his friend bursts into uncontrollable laughter at his reaction. Frustrated, the protagonist angrily tells his friend to stop laughing, while the friend tries to calm him down, urging him to check his notifications first. The protagonist shouts in disbelief about the notifications, startled by the sudden alert, demanding his attention. He discovers a message stating his gameplay will be broadcast on Loafer's stream and, after a brief hesitation, he agrees to the streaming arrangement. His friend admits he doesn't have many viewers but streams consistently using a built-in broadcasting platform called Recorder, which supports real-time communication and makes playing the game more enjoyable. The protagonist questions why he should stream as part of a money-making scheme, but his friend explains he will host the stream while the protagonist just plays the game, splitting profits 50-50ths with potential for more. The protagonist remains silent, clearly unsure how to respond to the proposal. He finally agrees, acknowledging he has no choice and confirms that he would earn 50 cents for every dollar made after fees. His friend encourages him to trust the plan, trying to ease his worries with a confident smile. Loafer greets the live audience, introducing his partner, Black Dragon, and promises to deliver fun content together from now on. The friend laughs heartily while the protagonist remains uneasy, both reacting to the nickname Black Dragon with contrasting emotions. The protagonist angrily questions the ridiculous nickname, while sarcastic remarks mock his streaming skills and low status, calling him an earthworm, not a dragon. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his partner on the live stream, promising to show lots of fun content together from now on. While the protagonist remains uneasy about the nickname, he tells the protagonist to calm down and not get mad at trolls, reminding him their goal is money and that trolls just enjoy provoking people. The protagonist, frustrated, asks what he should do next, showing his uncertainty about how to proceed. Loafer suggests checking the protagonist's skill recommendations since it's his first login, explaining the system will scan and recommend 3 skills that suit him. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. He excitedly comments on checking the skill recommendations immediately, wondering what skills the system will suggest. A brilliant light and a flurry of cards appear as the skill recommendation system activates, captivating both of them. Loafer greets the live audience and introduces Black Dragon as his partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The skill recommendation system activates, emitting a brilliant light and a flurry of cards that captivate both of them. The protagonist and Loafer react with shock and curiosity to the dazzling skill recommendation display. Chat messages flood in accusing the protagonist of hacking or exploiting a bug, with some demanding rewards or threatening to report him. Loafer greets the live audience and introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist's eye widens in shock and anxiety as he realizes the live broadcast is underway and the nickname Black Dragon is being used. Noticing the dazzling light from the skill recommendation system, the protagonist cautiously asks if something is wrong, trying to understand the sudden event. He stammers nervously, struggling to keep calm as the unexpected situation unfolds before him. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The skill recommendation system reveals not just 1 or 2, but many skill icons, causing chat to accuse the protagonist of hacking and mock him as a game noob. Loafer laughs at the improbability but insists it's just a recommendation, while the protagonist is amazed by the many unfamiliar skill icons and excitedly asks if others see them too. The protagonist calmly states he understands all the skill icons, showing confidence despite the unusual display. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his partner joining the live stream, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist resolves to grow well using these chances as stepping stones to discover differences between worlds and the goddess's true intentions. He decides to start with fire attribute magic, choosing a skill that is not too difficult to handle. Loafer asks Yinwer if he knows where to find quests, seeking guidance on how to proceed. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his partner on the live stream, promising to show lots of fun content together from now on. The protagonist angrily reacts to the nickname Black Dragon, while chat mocks him with sarcastic comments about magic and his skills. He questions whether magic is really that worthless, showing confusion and frustration, while Loafer prepares to explain. Loafer explains that proficiency is the most important factor in the game and that magic is very difficult to master compared to other skills. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his partner on the live stream, promising to show lots of fun content together from now on. The protagonist recalls that learning requires talent and effort, noting that magic is especially difficult and that having the right master is crucial. He asks if he can choose his master, expressing curiosity about who will teach him magic. He wonders if learning magic means needing someone to teach him, showing his confusion about the process. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his partner joining the live stream, promising to show lots of fun content together from now on. He explains that completing quests and achievements immediately grants skill books, but NPCs, despite their advanced, cannot teach skills. The protagonist reflects on how skill books have made the world much more convenient for learning new abilities. A master pushes the protagonist to keep training without stopping, reminding him there is still much to learn, while the protagonist recalls past struggles. Loafer greets the live audience and introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist is told that fire attribute magic can be purchased from the general store merchant, Julio, whom he immediately recognizes as an ugly swindler. He questions why he must go to Julio, and Loafer explains it's because he needs to get a magic book from him. Loafer warns that Julio is pure evil and that magic books from him are all scams, while Chat mocks Julio's reputation and appearance. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man asks if money just came in, learning there is a fee but also about 501 earned from the deal. He suddenly realizes this is a hidden skill that causes a big rise in value or status. Loafer questions if 1001 really matters, reminding him that business is business even if the amount seems trivial. Loafer greets the audience and introduces Black Dragon as his partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. He explains that to acquire fire attribute magic, the protagonist must visit Julio, the general store merchant. Loafer urges the protagonist to hurry and go, questioning why he is hesitating. The protagonist realizes he probably needs to find a magic master and asks if Loafer knows who that person might be. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The protagonist is speechless, stunned by the situation and unable to respond immediately. They exchange wary looks, with one warning that pushing further might bring a curse, while the other denies it's just a setting or illusion. The protagonist learns that Oxbell is merely an NPC for quests, known for committing fraud and theft, and once caught, can never be encountered again. Loafer greets the audience and introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The protagonist decides it will be faster to talk about the results and suggests they go to Oxbell next. Though frustrated and called stubborn, the protagonist remains silent, reflecting on the situation with growing tension. He then decides to go to Julio, wanting to try the route everyone has been discussing. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist reacts with frustration, questioning why he has to watch this, but ultimately agrees to proceed. A man jokes that he can dance a sexy dance anytime, referencing his military experience, while the protagonist wonders who made the joke. Loafer urges the protagonist to follow him without delay, encouraging him to move forward. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The young man is asked how he knows the path, but he admits it's just a hunch guiding their way through Port City Edlin. They arrive at Julio's shop, marking the destination where the protagonist must obtain the fire attribute magic book. The protagonist spots Julio inside the shop, who greets them warmly with an eager and somewhat sly smile. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his partner on the livestream, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist clenches his fist tightly, preparing himself mentally for what lies ahead. Troubling memories flood back as the protagonist is depicted alone in a dark cell, overwhelmed by past regrets. They discuss how NPC interaction is so free that sometimes game progression can be blocked, and players can even face jail for messing with NPCs. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist follows closely behind, determined as they walk through the city streets. He forcefully opens a door, stepping into a new space with resolve. Inside, the protagonist clenches his fist, steeling himself against troubling memories from the past. Loafer tells the protagonist that acquiring the fire attribute magic requires visiting Julio, the general store merchant. He introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The protagonist grabs Julio's collar, demanding why he continues to live in such a miserable way even here. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. They arrive at Julio's shop, the destination where the protagonist must obtain the fire attribute magic book. The protagonist is shocked and fearful upon seeing Julio, realizing the gravity of the situation. He clenches his fist tightly, preparing himself mentally as troubling memories flood back. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The protagonist reacts with frustration but ultimately prepares himself mentally for what lies ahead. He forcefully grabs Julio's collar, demanding why he continues to live in such a miserable way even here. Julio apologizes sincerely, explaining the last fire attribute spellbook was already sold and expresses regret. The merchant tells the protagonist that acquiring the fire attribute magic requires doing him a favor first. He explains a thief broke into his shop while he was dozing off, causing trouble. The merchant suspects his rival, Oxbell, is responsible for the theft and rivalry between them. Showing a fire emblem charm, he asks the protagonist to join him in catching the thief. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. A quest appears accusing Oxbell of stealing Ulrio's money bag, prompting the protagonist to question the legitimacy of such a false quest. The protagonist insists Oxbell is his true magic teacher and benefactor, despite the accusations, recalling their close connection. He remembers being framed and imprisoned during his first playthrough while training under Oxbell, feeling betrayed and isolated. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist recalls being framed and imprisoned, realizing that bribed guards and fabricated evidence made any defense useless. He questions Julio about the spellbook, learning that he must clear a questline first and that the thief will never leave prison. Julio warns that Oxbell will be held responsible for the crimes and ominously hints at the shop's bleak future. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. Julio slyly asks the protagonist what he thinks about the situation, trying to gauge his reaction. Julio suddenly tries to rush the protagonist to catch the culprit, urging him to hurry. Oxbell warns the protagonist not to mess up the shop, showing concern as the protagonist causes a commotion. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist holds a suspicious bag and demands to know why Julio said he was robbed, clearly doubting the story. A quest appears accusing Ulrio of scamming, but Julio remains silent, hinting at a complicated situation behind the accusation. Julio admits the scam really happened and suggests resetting the situation, acknowledging the protagonist's sharp perception. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The protagonist violently kicks a man, causing him to scream in pain as blood spills from his mouth. The injured man falls heavily to the floor, clearly gravely hurt from the protagonist's attack. The protagonist and Loafer discuss the robbery, with the protagonist doubting the story and suspecting deception. The protagonist closes his eyes, signaling a shift into a cut scene that will reveal more about the unfolding events. A man is forcibly restrained by guards, vehemently denying any involvement in wrongdoing despite his obvious distress. The tied man is led away by guards, continuing to protest his innocence as he is taken into custody. Behind bars, the man screams in anguish, trapped and desperate to prove he did nothing wrong. The protagonist notes how this reality differs greatly from before, highlighting the gap between a game and an actual alternate world. He remembers the dangerous moment when he had to break through corrupt guards and hand Ulrio over to a trustworthy person. Catching his breath, the protagonist steadies himself, preparing for what lies ahead. With determination, he summons the Fire Attribute Magic Book, ready to claim the power he needs. The protagonist completes a quest and receives 500 gold, but realizes the new quest will start only after moving to Oxbell's store, feeling trapped in a setup and desperate for a reset. He reflects on the situation, questioning if the flow of events is mere coincidence or something more orchestrated. Loafer excitedly calls out to his partner, trying to get his attention amid the tense moment. The protagonist confronts Loafer, surprised that he knows more than expected, and wonders how to talk his way out of the situation. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist laughs nervously, suggesting the game's story might be controlled by the same author as a novel due to its striking similarity. Loafer happily calls the protagonist a massive nerd, relieved that his constant fantasy talk in the army convinced him. An anonymous viewer donates 10,000 won, and Loafer enthusiastically thanks them, praising the protagonist's sharp instincts and deduction. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist admits Ulrio really did look like a criminal and acknowledges he was proven right, questioning if all streams are usually this dramatic. He decides to leave the entire matter to Yahello, choosing to focus on what he is good at instead. As they walk, Loafer is surprised that Oxbell is an NPC connected to the quest, predicting the forums will be very active about this. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The protagonist notes how most players unfairly treated an important NPC as a petty thief, imagining Oxbell would be furious about this injustice. He thinks about Oxbell personally, but she coldly rejects any idea of a job or assistance, telling him to get lost. Oxbell orders him to at least help by moving goods and warns him not to freeload. The protagonist is advised to study magic seriously instead of wasting life moving boxes, highlighting the importance of growth and preparation. A woman imprisoned behind bars remains silent, her calm demeanor contrasting with her grim surroundings. She is told to keep her head up, encouraging resilience despite the confinement. The woman is comforted that she is not at fault, but urged to stop talking and wait, as the protagonist promises to ensure the real culprit is caught. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be delivered to Yahello. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist recalls Oxbell as a precious yet painful memory, remembering how she eventually burned to death. He falls silent, deeply reflecting on the painful memories tied to Oxbell. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be delivered to Yahello. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist silently recalls Oxbell as a precious yet painful memory, remembering how she eventually burned to death. Oxbell reacts with mild curiosity, questioning the protagonist since she hasn't seen his face before. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content starting today. The woman asks if the protagonist sought her out knowing her identity, showing curiosity and slight suspicion. The man smiles confidently, acknowledging she is a newbie and confirms this is her first time, explaining he came to learn magic from her. She finds his request amusing and asks why she would teach someone she just met, challenging his boldness. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist expects Oxbell to reject him but feels ready because of what happened earlier, while viewers comment on the situation's toxicity. A woman notices the protagonist and questions him with curiosity and suspicion, sensing something unusual. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The woman quickly understands and confirms the man is Black Dragon, showing curiosity about his identity. She reveals that Yuliyo was trying to frame Black Dragon as a thief, exposing the deceit behind recent events. She harshly condemns Yuliyo as a piece of trash and predicts he will cause trouble someday. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. A woman thanks the man for helping her avoid a huge mess, and he admits he hates the same person she does. They agree that the man they dislike looks like a total scammer, someone no one would trust just by looking at him. The woman asks if he was looking for a spellbook but hesitates, sensing something unexpected about the situation. The man senses the woman is searching for a cure, surprising her with his insight. He deduces her intentions from the items scattered on her desk, revealing his keen observation. Despite her initial shock, she agrees to accept his help, showing a shift in her guarded demeanor. This marks the beginning of an unexpected alliance as she cautiously opens up to him. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from now on. A woman asks the man if he knows a lot about medicine, and he confidently replies that he does, prompting her to test his knowledge. She asks about a disease where the pupils turn blue, accompanied by dizziness and vomiting, showing her serious concern. The man admits he doesn't know the disease's name, which she expected, and she reflects on how many times she has been fooled. The woman bitterly recalls how all the supposed experts were alike, wasting her time and money with fake diagnoses just to enrich themselves. She admits losing count of how many times hope turned into poison, reflecting on the repeated disappointments. She explains that potions and recovery magic have no effect on the illness, and the patient doesn't even feel hunger. Startled, she asks the man if he truly knows what this illness is, showing her doubt and concern. The man calmly states that the illness has no name, but he knows how to cure it, catching the woman off guard. The woman reacts with shock and disbelief, asking if he really knows how to cure the disease. Desperate, she begs for his help and promises to reward him properly if he assists her. He confidently tells her to trust him, promising that he will definitely get the medicine needed. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content starting today. The woman reacts silently, overwhelmed by the viewer's harsh comments condemning Yuliyo and questioning the hero's role. A man reminds her that since the company is in Songdo, she will have to wake up early. She warns him not to skip breakfast again, showing concern and familiarity with his habits. The young man sighs in frustration, telling his mother to stop nagging him about his habits. He recalls being in the middle of a stream but decides to sleep early since it's his first day as an intern. The streamer is overwhelmed by angry viewers demanding compensation and accusing Yuliyo, reacting loudly to the chaotic comments. The man is asked where they should go, and he responds with a confident smile, preparing for their next move. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content starting today. The man suddenly clutches his chest, overwhelmed by a sharp pain that causes him to stagger. His companion urgently asks if he is feeling unwell, showing concern for his sudden distress. The man tries to explain that his mother is involved but is interrupted by his worsening condition and visible shock. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content starting today. The streaming chat fills with mocking and angry comments about Yuliyo and the hero, overwhelming the woman silently. A man is reminded by his mother to wake up early for work and not skip breakfast, but he sighs and asks her to stop nagging. The mother looks deeply troubled and stressed, revealing her emotional state without words. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man tells his mother he was just trying out a discharge gift given by Yun Woo. He explains that Yunwoo suggested they play games together now that he finished his military service. His mother warns him not to play the game for too long since it's frequently on the news. The woman expresses surprise that the young man actually went through with the internship. He explains he needs at least one line for his resume, causing the woman to angrily scold him for acting without informing her. She lashes out at him, frustrated by his secretive behavior, and demands to know why he does such things. He quickly blocks her hand with a smile, teasing her about the situation and lightening the mood. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content starting today. The young man reacts with frustration as his mother scolds him for not preparing for a job immediately after military discharge. Feeling this pressure is harder than fighting a martial arts master. He explains to his mother that his next semester is his final one before graduation, so he needs to find a job quickly. The mother remains silent, clearly troubled and stressed by the situation. A woman warns the young man not to skip breakfast again, showing her concern and familiarity with his habits. He tries to excuse himself by saying Yunwoo bought him a chocolate parfait, but she sharply rejects it as a poor excuse. The young man sighs in frustration, telling his mother to stop nagging him and explaining he was in the middle of a stream but plans to sleep early since it's his first day as an intern. He reflects on feeling bad for Yunwoo, who gave him a discharge gift, and acknowledges the need to rest despite his streaming activities. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man remembers he was streaming but plans to sleep early since tomorrow is his first day as an intern. Feeling a bit bad for Yunwoo, who gave him a discharge gift, the streamer reacts loudly to angry viewers demanding compensation and accusing Yulio, overwhelmed by the chaotic comments flooding the chat. A community notice announces a hidden skill and hero grade quest has appeared, drawing significant attention with many views and comments. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The man scoffs at the ridiculous rumors, wondering who would believe such nonsense about a hidden skill. He thinks the fuss over a hidden skill appearing once is overblown, while the narration reveals he is Kim Jae-ha, an employee at a small game workshop. Reading online comments, he realizes streamers will go to any lengths for viral marketing and questions who this unknown Loafer really is. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content starting today. A young man notes the edgy vibe his nickname gives off, even mentioning a mom-crushed label. He falls silent, lost in thought, reflecting on the situation. Determined to find out the truth, he slams his fist on the table, deciding to check things for himself. The young man asks everyone to calm down amid the flood of chaotic and mocking chat messages reacting to the game and hero. He nervously explains that he and Black Dragon both served in the military, with himself as the senior officer, and praises Black Dragon as a good son to his mother. The young man laughs awkwardly while responding to questions about Black Dragon's age and reputation, trying to keep the mood light. Suddenly, he is startled by something unexpected, his eyes widening in surprise. The streamer panics as the viewer count suddenly spikes and wonders where Black Dragon has gone, confused by the chaotic chat messages flooding in. He is shocked to discover a post about them has gone viral on the RPG platform, realizing his streaming is unexpectedly gaining massive attention. A message from Black Dragon appears, apologizing for leaving early and explaining that tomorrow is his first day at work, so he must stop streaming now. The young man reacts with surprise and concern to this sudden development, processing the unexpected turn of events. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. Oxbell receives a message from Black Dragon, who chooses to give a hint instead of direct assistance. He reacts with surprise and curiosity upon reading the unexpected message from Black Dragon. He nervously decides to share the gift Black Dragon left behind with the viewers, despite some hesitation. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man looks up at the city buildings, contemplating his next steps and the challenges ahead. He checks his phone carefully, hoping the awaited opportunity or message has arrived. With resolve, he tells himself to do his best at work as he prepares to enter the building. A man urgently questions Kong Hanbit about going to the lab yesterday and demands that the revisions be checked immediately. Kong Hanbit looks surprised as he reviews the information, clearly caught off guard. The man sarcastically complains about the intern arriving today and questions whether HR is doing their job properly. He expresses his frustration with a dismissive sound, showing his irritation with the situation. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. A man urgently orders Lee Miho to take the intern and set up the conference room, emphasizing the need for immediate action. Lee Miho introduces himself to the intern, offering to answer any questions and make the transition easier. He tells the intern to put down his bag and follow him, promising to show the desk and explain contract paperwork later. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. A man impatiently taps his phone against the wall, signaling urgency and frustration. A man questions Kong Hanbit about why there are two people present today, clearly surprised by the unexpected situation. Kong Hanbit looks puzzled and asks who the other person is, trying to understand the situation. A man eagerly expresses his anticipation to learn a lot during his internship, showing his enthusiasm despite the pressure. Another man advises him not to overwork and simply follow instructions, leaving the intern somewhat uneasy. The senior then tells the intern that once he finishes tidying up, he can leave, signaling the end of his initial tasks. The intern quietly exits the room, stepping into the next phase of his new job with a mix of determination and uncertainty. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man reflects on the company's future and decides to focus on learning as much as possible while he's there, finding it better than his previous life. He takes a step forward, surrounded by digital effects that suggest a significant transition or return to reality. Black Dragon returns, apologizing for missing all the messages and explaining that his first day at work was extremely hectic. Oxbell jokingly asks about his face, sarcastically saying it looks like it's about to rot. The young man is shocked as the viewer count on the stream suddenly spikes over 5,000, realizing they've hit the jackpot. Loafer enthusiastically announces the official start of the Oxbell quest, asking if anyone has succeeded yet. He cheerfully admits no one has managed it so far, despite skeptical and doubtful comments from viewers. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. Black Dragon sarcastically criticizes the viewers for lacking imagination and insists they need to be more creative. He confidently offers to demonstrate himself and urges everyone to keep up as they head to the main castle gate. The intern nervously insists he's not inexperienced, explaining he's read many fantasy novels and thought anything would be possible in such a free game. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be transferred to Yahello, setting a clear goal for their next move. The young man hears a voice urging him to trust the message despite his doubts, sparking his curiosity. Two men notice a crowd gathered and realize these are people who saw a post on the community site. They excitedly announce the arrival of the Vanguard, prompting the young man to question who the Vanguard are. Oxbell states that the fire attribute magic needs to be passed on to Yahello, marking the next goal in their quest. Two men observe a crowd gathered, realizing these people responded to a community post, indicating rising attention. They excitedly announce the Vanguard's arrival, sparking questions about who the Vanguard actually are. The Vanguard appear, including a heavily armored warrior and a ranger, showing the quest's importance and the valuable reward. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man asks what the Vanguard is, and another teasingly admits he wouldn't know, implying the young man is still a newbie. A man explains that the top 10,000 rankers are called the Vanguard, ranked by levels, proficiency, and story progression, with only 500 in Korea out of 300 million players worldwide. They wonder if the Vanguard have learned magic yet, noting most skipped it due to the proficiency grind and prioritize growth, while some use mage avatars for their appearance. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man recognizes the Golden Bird Bow as a work by a fairly skilled craftsman, recalling its significance. Two men wonder if others failed the Oxbell quest too, explaining that most Vanguard players belong to corporations. They reveal corporations provide full support to clear role-playing games, which remain profitable even beyond game ownership disputes. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. A woman asks Black Dragon if he's streaming now and when he'll show clearing the quest, and he says he plans to start soon but hesitates. A man angrily insists that previous claims were nonsense and questions why there's such a fuss, while the woman remains silent. The man harshly reminds the woman of a past betrayal where she lost everything except her underwear, prompting her to sharply retort. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be passed on to Yahello, marking the next goal in their quest. The young man confidently says he needs a fishing rod to make the cure, introducing a surprising new requirement. Oxbell reacts with confusion, questioning why a fishing rod is necessary and why life skills suddenly matter. Chat messages reveal viewers' bafflement over needing a fish and bomb slime, showing how unexpected the quest's demands are. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be passed on to Yahello, marking the next goal in their quest. Black Dragon sarcastically claims the others have no clue, implying he knows the true path forward. When asked about the fishing rod, Black Dragon suggests the medicine's ingredients might be found in the ocean. He playfully avoids explaining why the fishing rod is needed, leaving the reason uncertain. Loafer excitedly introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man confidently says he needs a fishing rod and asks to borrow 70,000 gold to continue his quest. Oxbell is confused by the request, questioning why a fishing rod is necessary and why life skills suddenly matter. Viewers express bafflement over the unexpected quest demands, especially needing fish and bomb slime for the cure. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The young man confidently asks to borrow 70,000 gold to buy a fishing rod, surprising Oxbell, who questions why a fishing rod is needed for the quest. The young man fishes quietly by the ocean at sunset, while chat messages joke about Eldrock's hearing and the intimacy of fishing next to him. The young man greets the elder fisherman, Eldrock, who looks confused by the sudden interaction. The young man addresses Eldrock as grandfather and offers 50,000 gold, showing respect and trying to persuade him to help. Eldrock stays silent, considering the young man's offer carefully without giving an immediate response. Eldrock suddenly rejects the offer, demanding 100,000 gold, revealing his firm and unyielding nature. The young man laughs and suggests settling for 60,000 gold, acknowledging Eldrock's stubbornness but trying to negotiate. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man negotiates with Eldrock, offering 50,000 gold to borrow a fishing rod, but Eldrock angrily demands 90,000 gold, recalling their past fishing days. Eldrock grudgingly admits the young man is shrewd but finally agrees to let him have the fishing rod, telling him to do whatever he wants. Black Dragon happily celebrates securing the fishing rod for 60,000 gold, while Eldrock angrily tells them to take the money and get lost. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man prepares to demonstrate something involving a fishing rod in a bomb slime field, teasing a surprising new quest element. He suggests trying role-playing to act out the quest, but Black Dragon rejects the idea, causing the broadcast to be humorously disrupted. Viewers ask what kind of mob a bomb slime is, and the young man explains that bomb slimes are extremely sensitive creatures. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be transferred to Yahello, setting the next objective in their journey. He shows that even attacking bomb slimes from afar causes them to explode, proving their volatile nature. The explosion happens with intense force, confirming that bomb slimes detonate upon any attack. Oxbell warns that simply running into bomb slimes will also trigger their explosions, highlighting their extreme sensitivity. The young man and Oxbell discuss the uselessness of bomb slimes since they don't drop anything when they explode, while pondering how a fishing rod could help deal with such creatures. The young man quietly approaches the ocean, preparing to fish as the sun sets, setting a calm yet focused mood. He steps carefully onto the ground, showing his cautious approach to the task ahead. He finds the perfect fishing spot and feels confident about the height and position for fishing. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be transferred to Yahello, marking the next objective in their journey. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The young man fishes quietly by the ocean at sunset, preparing for the next step in his quest. He senses they are being followed and alerts his companion about the presence of pursuers nearby. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The young man senses they have been followed since leaving the city, noticing their pursuers keep their distance but remain persistent. He reveals that not just one team, but several groups have been tracking them, increasing the danger they face. He asks for the screen settings window to adjust their display, quickly locating it to prepare for the next move. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to show lots of fun content together starting today. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The young man reflects on his long-standing love for fantasy stories, finding comfort in them. He notes that no one in his unit shares his hobby, leaving him feeling isolated. To ease his boredom, he repeatedly reads the same book until it becomes worn out. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to share lots of entertaining content starting today. A recruit asks the young man if he happens to know the novel they are discussing, showing curiosity. The young man confirms he has read the novel and found a particular part especially fun. The recruit excitedly talks about fun parts the young man missed despite reading the novel multiple times. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content together starting today. The young man remembers the RP advertisement he saw after his discharge, which made him certain about entering this alternate world. He thinks about how incredibly fun it would be to play with a particular recruit, imagining the excitement of their teamwork. The young man confirms that only his screen is being broadcasted now, quietly communicating with his companion to coordinate their actions. Loafer cheerfully encourages viewers to follow the channel while Black Dragon adjusts the screen for better viewing. Black Dragon resists moving his face for the screen adjustment, causing a playful exchange between him and Loafer. The young man expresses frustration at only seeing the action through Yanhua's screen, wanting a more direct perspective. He acknowledges the anxiety about other competitors catching up soon, increasing the stakes of their journey. The young man steps cautiously onto the ground, preparing carefully for what lies ahead. He finds an ideal fishing spot, confident about the position and height for his task. Suddenly, he senses pursuers nearby and warns his companion about the imminent threat. Several armed figures emerge, ready to confront him, signaling a dangerous encounter. The young man turns on his screen and greets his viewers, catching them off guard with his sudden friendly wave. He firmly grips the fishing rod, readying himself for the next step in his plan. With a powerful flick, he casts the fishing line far out, showing his practiced technique. He remembers why he chose this fishing rod from Old Man Eldrock, implying it has a special function for his task. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be transferred to Yuliyo, marking the next objective in their journey. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to share lots of entertaining content starting today. The young man reveals the fishing hook is special, with a sharp tip that prevents bomb slimes from reacting. He presses a button on the rod, causing thorns to shoot out from the tip of the hook, activating its unique feature. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The young man confidently casts his fishing line far out, demonstrating his skill and readiness for the next phase. He recalls why he selected this fishing rod from Old Man Eldrock, implying it has a special ability crucial for their plan. A slime carrying a small rock inside it drops nearby, drawing the shocked attention of two armed figures who realize something unexpected is happening. The young man reluctantly orders a temporary retreat, realizing the situation is too risky to continue advancing. He suddenly senses something and turns his head, alert to an unexpected disturbance nearby. Slimes carrying small rocks begin to fall from the sky, startling everyone and forcing them to flee immediately. Amid the chaos, a slime emits a sudden bright light that shocks the young man, hinting at a surprising twist in their predicament. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be transferred to Yuliyo, setting the next objective for their journey. The young man demonstrates his skill by casting the fishing line far out, impressing his companion with the technique. He confidently states that his fishing hook's sharp tip prevents bomb slimes from reacting, activating its thorn feature with a button press. Ready to move forward, he asks if they should proceed properly, showing determination to continue their plan. The young man carefully hooks a glowing rock inside a slime, ensuring it remains undisturbed to avoid triggering an explosion. He lifts the slime gently, keeping the rock secure on the fishing hook as the slime quivers in place. The slime continues to shake slightly as the young man maintains control, preventing any sudden reactions. He places the slime carefully into a container, securing the rock safely without causing harm or explosion. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The young man explains that bomb slimes can become dud slimes if a group is eliminated all at once, adding complexity to their plan. He acknowledges that sharing their exact method means others will try to copy it, but he wants everyone to have a chance to clear the quest. Despite knowing control won't be easy, he insists they must move forward and meet Oxbell to continue their journey. The man gasps, acknowledging he was almost in serious trouble, catching his breath after a close call. He thinks about Black Dragon, realizing this player is not just a beginner but someone with significant skill and presence. He concludes that Black Dragon is supported by a large corporation, far beyond the scale of his own workplace. Though puzzled by Black Dragon's partnership with a small streamer, he accepts the strange alliance with a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. He thinks the distraction might be intended to divert users' attention because the advance party discovered something important. He resolves to at least clear Oxbell's quest for now, focusing on this immediate goal. Confident, he believes completing this quest will fulfill his monthly quota. A woman reacts with shock and disgust upon seeing what was brought as medicine, clearly horrified by its appearance. The medicine is revealed to be a foul, poisonous substance emitting a disturbing aura, raising serious concerns. Two men exchange uneasy glances, questioning just how bad the situation really is, their expressions showing doubt and worry. The woman lets out a heavy sigh, overwhelmed by the grim reality of the medicine's condition. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his partner, promising to deliver lots of fun content starting today. A woman offers money to persuade someone to leave, showing her resolve to handle the situation. A man comments that she doesn't seem very desperate, challenging her emotional state. The woman reacts with intense anger, glaring fiercely in response to the man's remark. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising exciting content from today onward. A woman is force-fed a suspicious substance, reacting with shock and disgust at its foul taste. She stiffens and glares fiercely, expressing intense anger and resistance to the forced medicine. Two men nervously offer the same poisonous medicine to a third person, who refuses it with visible discomfort. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises exciting content from today onward. A woman is horrified and shocked after realizing she was force-fed a foul, poisonous substance disguised as medicine. She glares fiercely in anger and resistance as two men watch nervously, having forced the suspicious medicine on her. The woman begins vomiting, confirming the medicine's harmful effect, while one man anxiously wonders if she is throwing up. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises exciting content from today onward. A woman is shocked and disturbed after noticing a seed-like object has come out, indicating something unusual and alarming. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The woman is told that the true cause of her and her mother's illness was the seed-like object she vomited out. She is reminded that she has been sick for a while, something noticed from the first time she was seen. It is revealed she must have suffered alone to avoid worrying her mother. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The young man wonders how someone could feel so deeply, concluding he can't call her foolish given that feeling. He reveals the woman ate a parasitic seed from the far southern region that attaches to a living creature's stomach and grows there. He explains she probably ate it because it was attached to an ingredient from that region, and only bomb slime mucus can remove it. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his partner, promising to show lots of fun content from today onward. The explosive property is removed from the medicine, leaving only the toxin that causes vomiting and the mucus component. The woman is informed that once the parasitic seed is vomited out, the condition ends and it is not really a disease. She is told that after throwing up the seed, she won't need medicine anymore. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. A man urges a woman to go see her mother quickly, handing her a suspicious plate emitting a strange aura. He reflects on Oxbell, noting that despite this world being inside a game, Oxbell hasn't changed. He remembers the foolish Oxbell who always worried more about others' pain than his own. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his partner, promising exciting new content from today onward. A woman angrily recalls that although words were sometimes harsh, someone always supported her. She sincerely hopes that Oxbell can find happiness as the story moves into a cutscene. A woman brings medicine to her ill mother, showing her concern and determination to help. A woman is force-fed a suspicious substance, reacting with shock and disgust at its foul taste. She stiffens and glares fiercely, expressing intense anger and resistance to the forced medicine. The woman looks worried and uncomfortable as she hesitates to swallow the medicine. Her eyes widen in shock and realization, sensing something deeply wrong. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. A woman fiercely declares she will kill them all and refuses to let them get away with it, surprising others with her smile. Loafer reflects that it has been a while since he last saw her smiling face, showing a softer side. The woman tearfully thanks everyone sincerely, overwhelmed by the support and the progress they made together. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The woman gratefully acknowledges that both she and her mother survived because of the help she received. She offers a reward, presenting a magic book that the man had been looking for. The man thanks her for the gift but humbly says he is the one who should be thankful. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises exciting content from today onward. The man excitedly asks if he can touch the magic book just once and suggests moving on to the next quest. A cheerful woman tells them not to leave yet, saying she still has more to give. She first presents a large bag, surprising the men with what she's about to offer. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The man is shocked as the system notifies him that the first clear reward has been granted. The reward amount is increased to the maximum, doubling the gold from 2,000 to 4,000. He gains 2 additional stat points, raising his total from 3 to 5. The man holds a magic book, and a system message announces his level has increased to 5, awarding him 5 bonus stat points. The magic book begins to glow intensely, signaling that Oxbell's Fireball magic book has ranked up from hero to unique. He looks at the glowing book with surprise and confusion, struggling to understand the sudden and unexpected upgrade. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from today onward. The young man thought everything would be fine as long as Oxbell was happy, but seeing the words first clear makes him reconsider. He is shocked as the magic book glows intensely, indicating Oxbell's Fireball magic book has unexpectedly ranked up from hero to unique. The chat explodes with chaotic comments, questioning what just happened and expressing disbelief over the sudden upgrade. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The man is amazed to receive a unique spellbook as a first clear reward, finding it pretty amazing. Feeling nervous, he asks his companion to say something to the viewers, hoping to ease the tension. The man panics as the chat explodes with chaotic comments, begging everyone to calm down and insisting they didn't know about this. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. A woman hands the man a mysterious item, catching him off guard as he questions what it is. The man nervously asks if there's more, as the woman reveals another gift, surprising him further. The system announces the first clear achievement unlocked, granting rewards including a letter of introduction and a stat point. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. A woman points out that neither of them has proper weapons and their gear is a complete mess after hunting bomb slimes, also noting they smell bad. The man insists they don't stink, explaining the smell comes from the bomb slimes, and reminds her she made him eat something stinky. The woman sincerely thanks them for their help and invites them to come back anytime they need assistance. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The man asks what they should do now, and Oxbell explains that RP is an open world with no set path so they can go wherever they want. They learn that everyone starts in the port city of Edlin, but everything after that is up to them, highlighting the game's high level of freedom. Oxbell warns them to be careful not to wander into high-level areas by mistake, as many players have gotten stuck and suffered because of that. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of fun content starting today. Oxbell shows off his upgraded look, boasting it took 5 hours to achieve, while the man reacts with a tired but amused response. A cheerful woman explains that players can choose their gender, reminding them that appearances aren't everything. The man reflects on their situation, understanding they must decide for themselves where to go next in the open-world game. A viewer donates 50,000 KRW, jokingly hoping to see Oxbell get angry more often, sparking excitement in the chat. Loafer reacts with surprise and gratitude, loudly thanking the donor for the generous 50,000 KRW contribution. The man quickly realizes he would receive half the donation amount, 25,000 KRW, and reacts with astonishment. Another viewer donates 10,000 KRW, accompanied by playful laughter, adding to the lively and supportive stream atmosphere. A viewer donates 30,000 KRW, marveling at how insane it is to have a rank 1 unique item. Another viewer named Fiery Charisma donates 100,000 KRW, praising fire magic as the best. The man is stunned and thankful, confirming the 100,000 KRW donation and expressing sincere gratitude. He excitedly tells his companion that the viewer count has exploded to 8,000, amazed by their stream's growing popularity. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The viewer count skyrockets to over 8,000, leaving the man amazed by the sudden surge in popularity. He reflects on how they've only cleared one quest but already have thousands of viewers watching their stream. The man nervously thanks the viewers for their donations while Loafer urges him to react excitedly to the growing support. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of entertaining content from now on. Oxbell unexpectedly starts a silly dance of gratitude, making the man cringe as viewers react negatively and some begin to leave the stream. The man contemplates how clearing just one of Oxbell's quests has already brought significant rewards, fueling his hope to earn a lot of money if he continues. He clenches his fist with resolve, vowing that he will finally be able to pay his mother back for her sacrifices. Loafer enthusiastically introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The man remembers how his mother had completely given up on her own life just to find him, and he vows to make her happy from now on. He is urged to try using the spellbook since everyone is waiting, and he agrees to give it a try. He activates the spellbook, triggering a magical reaction that catches him off guard as the power begins to manifest. Oxbell explains that the powerful fire attribute magic, Fireball, must be given to Yuliyo. The spell is described as a unique great attack that incinerates everything with a powerful explosion. The man examines the spellbook and feels surprised by how simple the spell seems, reflecting on his past struggles. Loafer excitedly tells him that the instructions feel like they are flowing directly into his head, though the man is skeptical. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content from now on. The man notices a delay in learning the spell and laughs. It might be because it's unique grade. He finds it strange since he definitely learned the spell and wonders if his knowledge from another world is carrying over. He realizes this explains the meaning of existing character when he first started playing the game. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. He is told to try casting the spell on a rock nearby to test its power. The man concentrates deeply, focusing his thoughts into the center of his palm to prepare the spell. Flames erupt from his hand as he successfully casts the powerful fireball spell. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The man concentrates deeply, focusing his thoughts to prepare the fireball spell. Flames erupt from his hand as he successfully casts the powerful fireball spell. The spell explodes with intense fire, incinerating everything in its path with a massive blast. The explosion leaves a huge crater, impressing both men as they watch the aftermath. The man admires the power of the rank 1 item, amazed at how strong it already is. He suddenly notices something strange and questions what he just realized. Shock and confusion overwhelm him as a new effect or status begins to manifest. A powerful new title effect called Chronicle of the 55th. New effect unlocked activates, marking a major change. Oxbell tells him the fire attribute Magic Fireball must be transferred to Yahello, describing it as a unique grade spell that incinerates everything with a powerful explosion. The man casts the fireball spell, releasing a massive fiery explosion that leaves him gasping for breath, overwhelmed by the spell's power. A new title effect called Chronicle of the 55th. New effect unlocked activates, indicating a significant upgrade in his abilities linked to his experience mastery. The man exhales deeply, overwhelmed by the effort and reflecting on how the goddess was watching over him all along. Oxbell asks if he is okay, showing concern, but the man insists he's fine and tells him not to worry. The man explains the high-rank spell put too much strain on him since it's his first spell, and he wants to see a normal rank spell instead. Oxbell is surprised by the request but listens as the man asks him to show what a normal rank spell looks like. The man reluctantly agrees to demonstrate a normal rank spell, admitting his curiosity but warning not to laugh at it. He takes a deep breath, mentally preparing himself for the spell casting ahead. Focusing his energy, he summons the fireball spell with determination. The fireball bursts forth from his hand, releasing a fierce blaze that captivates both men. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of entertaining content from now on. The man admits the spell is a bit small for a spell but still finds it pretty cool in its own way. He remembers how brutal the magic proficiency grind is but is amazed that Loafer reached unique rank in one go. Though frustrated by the unfairness, the man admits he didn't expect the magic to be this strong right from the start. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The man insists Oxbell has misunderstood magic and that he isn't actually performing magic at all. He explains that magic isn't something you simply click and cast, hinting the issue lies deeper than the spellbook. He reveals that magic is mathematics, requiring incantations and mana control to be calculated precisely, beyond just rank differences. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The man greets Loafer casually, responding with a laid-back attitude. Oxbell questions if the man created his character just yesterday, which surprises and confuses him. The man yawns and dismisses the lecture, showing signs of middle school syndrome and lack of focus. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of entertaining content from now on. The man smirks mischievously, clearly preparing to confront Oxbell with a sharp retort. He angrily grabs Oxbell, shouting that they don't understand magic at all, expressing frustration over their ignorance. He warns that without understanding magic, they shouldn't expect any information about other quests, while Oxbell tries to calm him down. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The man reacts silently, caught off guard by the announcement, unsure how to respond. He admits the grand gesture was exaggerated just for the stream, which makes both men suddenly act more friendly and polite. Reflecting on his past obsession with money, the man realizes his anger has strangely disappeared, calming his mind. The man confidently admits he already has a particular place in mind for their next move. He recognizes the place instantly, indicating familiarity despite the time elapsed since his last visit. Oxbell asks if the man isn't supposed to be progressing the main story, surprised by his detour. The man replies that the main story can wait, as he intends to focus on gaining new skills first. The man opens a wooden door, stepping inside a room where Oxbell and a muscular man are already present. Inside the rustic room, the three stand quietly, the atmosphere tense and expectant. Mounted animal heads on the wall emphasize the rough, hunting lodge feel of the space. Oxbell admits the place always feels creepy no matter when he visits, shivering slightly. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. Hunter Rickner, a muscular archer NPC, turns sharply, suspiciously asking if the visitor is a customer. The man confidently replies that he came to learn some archery, despite the tense atmosphere. Hunter Rickner slams a cleaver down, questioning if the man is serious about learning archery. The man confidently claims he has plenty of grit and skill, ready to take on the challenge. Hunter Rickner responds skeptically, stating the test is simple and implying the man must prove himself. The quest details appear, explaining that to learn archery, the man must pass Hunter Rickner's test by achieving the required score to earn gold, a training book, a stat point, and experience. The man prepares to shoot arrows at a target, focusing on the challenge ahead. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to deliver lots of entertaining content starting today. The man grips an arrow, preparing to shoot with focused determination. He draws the bowstring back, steadying his aim with sharp concentration. With confidence, he pulls the arrow taut, ready to release it toward the target. The man is told he should have invested in agility to improve his performance, highlighting a weakness in his current approach. He calmly responds that he has already gotten the hang of it, showing confidence despite the criticism. Oxbell encourages him to do his best, though his expression suggests he is not fully convinced. The man looks puzzled by the encouragement, indicating he might be facing an unexpected situation or challenge. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises to show lots of fun content starting today. The man shoots an arrow that lands on the target, demonstrating his archery skills. Oxbell is shocked and exclaims in disbelief at the man's impressive shot. The man admits the challenge is intense but remains determined to prove himself. The man lands several precise shots on the target, causing Oxbell to question his true identity due to the impressive skill displayed. He scores 7 points, then 2 perfect 10-point shots, with 26 attempts still left to prove his archery prowess. The man fires all 26 remaining arrows in quick succession, each one hitting the target with remarkable accuracy. The target explodes from the overwhelming impact of the arrows, showcasing the man's extraordinary archery power. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises to show lots of entertaining content starting today. The man shoots an arrow that hits the target perfectly, scoring a 10-point hit and proving his archery skill. He clenches his fist in victory, celebrating the success of his precise and powerful shot. The man proudly shows a total score of 287, marking a feat impossible with only RP level 2 gear functions. The man tosses gold coins into the air, showing boredom and asking if there's anything more interesting to do. Gold coins fall through the air as the man's restless attitude continues, emphasizing his search for excitement. He repeats his boredom, questioning if there's anything more engaging than what he's currently doing. A woman nearby dismisses weak opponents with poor security, indicating she wants a more serious challenge. Loafer enthusiastically announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises viewers plenty of fun content from now on. A woman sitting down notices 2 shadowy figures entering and quietly murmurs her curiosity about their arrival. Loafer enthusiastically announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises viewers plenty of fun content from now on. The man hums happily, clutching a book and a bag, clearly excited about what lies ahead. Black Dragon stays silent, his expression unreadable, showing no reaction to the man's excitement. Loafer playfully asks if the man is too excited, but he admits he can't help smiling and feeling joyful. Loafer's eyes sparkle with excitement as he confidently predicts they will be rolling in cash at this rate. The man reveals he placed a bet on the polls, and the underdog victory paid out big, surprising everyone with his unexpected archery talent. He suggests it would be great to stir things up like this every once in a while, showing enthusiasm despite the ongoing stream. Loafer asks where they are heading next, eager to continue their adventure and keep the excitement going. The man announces his plan to learn swordsmanship but notes he must first get the haste skill, which is essential before starting his training. His companion reacts with surprise, questioning the need for swiftness, while the man explains that haste is a requirement for swordsmanship. The companion expresses disbelief, calling haste a useless Tier 1 skill with no practical use, showing doubt about its value. Ignoring the complaints, the man tells his companion to stop complaining and follow him, as he heads out first to pursue the skill. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises viewers plenty of entertaining content from now on. The man reveals that the NPC named Lia is tied to a quest involving the haste skill, which many avoid for a specific reason. He explains that the difficulty of Lia's quest is far too high compared to the actual performance of the haste skill. His companion questions if he can really accomplish this, but the man stays silent, focused on the challenge ahead. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises viewers plenty of entertaining content from now on. The man confidently approaches a woman, expressing his intent to learn her greatest skill. He firmly states he came to learn what she excels at, showing determination. The woman smiles, recognizing his spirit, but warns there's more to come before revealing the challenge. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises viewers lots of fun content starting today. A woman confidently holds a tied bag, preparing to move forward with purpose. She swiftly walks away, leaving two men behind, her expression showing determination and readiness. She playfully tells someone they are too sluggish, eager to push ahead without delay. The man asks why there is no reaction and demands to be taught the skill now that he has paid the tuition fee. He justifies the tuition fee as cheap compared to the gold stolen from him through 55 regressions, showing his pragmatic view on the cost. The woman silently considers the situation, her expression thoughtful as she prepares to respond. She openly states her dislike for the man's attitude but implies that there is more to come, setting the stage for a challenge. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of entertaining content from now on. A confident woman declares class is in session and challenges them to catch her, signaling the start of a rigorous training. The quest appears, stating Leah has run away and must be found within a time limit to earn the Manual of Haste, stat points, and experience. The man explains that Leah's quest is nearly impossible because she demands 25,000 gold over 5 3-hour sessions before teaching the skill. Loafer enthusiastically announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of fun content starting today. The man confidently states he will catch Leah despite others saying it's impossible to catch her manually, planning to call someone else if needed. The request to find Leah is made outside a building, signaling the beginning of the difficult quest. A woman greets the man, surprised but intrigued, and asks how he knew she and Leah were family. The woman sighs and admits she understands the situation, showing a moment of reluctant acceptance. The man and his companion realize the two women are sisters, confirmed by graffiti near where Leah was standing, though this is met with disbelief. The man scolds his companion for not paying attention to their surroundings, explaining that Black Dragon's keen perception explains the impressive archery skills witnessed earlier. He reflects that if he hadn't sent Oxbell to prison, things might have turned out differently, hinting at past conflicts influencing current events. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of entertaining content from now on. The man is reminded to come along since he was looking for Leah, snapping him back to focus on the quest. A woman hums softly while playing with a cat, showing a relaxed and confident attitude. She continues to play with the cat, clearly at ease and enjoying the moment before the challenge begins. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises viewers lots of fun content starting today. A woman laughs confidently, convinced that no one will be able to find her hiding place. Another woman greets her warmly, calling her sis, and confirming their sibling relationship. The younger sister reacts with shock and confusion, struggling to process the unexpected reunion. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The woman angrily accuses the man of cheating for bringing her sister, but he calmly says he used any means necessary due to his connection with her. Leah is asked if they can have a word, making her nervous as she tries to explain the situation. The older sister scolds the younger one for pickpocketing, causing her to cry out in pain. The woman warns firmly to return to the shop once finished and cautions against wandering off, threatening bigger trouble if disobeyed. The man acknowledges her warning with a smile, expressing gratitude to Oxbell. She admits she has never met anyone like him before. Holding out a shining book, she insists that a promise is a promise and hands it over to him. The quest is complete, and the rewards have been boosted to the maximum, granting Leah's Manual of Haste, 3 stat points, and 500 experience. Though frustrated by receiving another unique grade, the man accepts the reward with a bitter comment about his dislike for the world. A woman angrily declares she is done and hopes never to see the man again, but he responds casually, telling her he'll see her later. The man finds his companion out of breath and confirms the quest is over, showing him the manual they earned. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of fun content starting today. After a breathless search, the man finally finds the quest reward and confirms that he has completed the task. He proudly shows the unique rank of the reward, surprising his companion and prompting excited reactions from viewers. Confidently holding the reward, he announces that it's time to learn swordsmanship and begins activating the skill. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man contemplates the skill book, admitting he can't get used to how it gets consumed upon use. Loafer asks why the man learned swiftness, and he responds that the reason should be obvious. They imagine racing at the same speed to illustrate the effect of swiftness, showing it only makes a slight difference. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man laughs off the unique rank of their reward, saying it didn't make much difference and dares others to try dying over 50 times like him. He confidently announces they will learn rank 2 swordsmanship next, calling it a significant advancement and claiming seniority in the skill. Surprised by viewers' comments, he questions if that's really what they're saying, showing frustration. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of fun content starting today. The man suspects the guidebook is the reason for his progress, as it's said to be the best resource for beginners right now. He understands that no one cleared Oxbel's quest before because no one could interact with Oxbel due to Ulrich's scam. Oxbel was taken away and never seen again, which caused Lia to become an NPC that no one looked for, despite players role-playing differently. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner and promises viewers lots of fun content starting today. He realizes that all the experiences he's had are hints leading him toward the right path. Resolute, he decides to clear his roleplay in his own way, taking control of his destiny. Though uncertain about the goddess's plans, he refuses to be manipulated like a puppet any longer. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising exciting content for their viewers starting today. The two companions journey through a serene forest, moving steadily toward their destination. They talk about the elusive swordsmanship NPC, explaining that his hidden swordsman concept keeps him distant. They finally reach the red pavilion where the swordsmanship NPC is located, signaling their arrival. The man reaches the red pavilion where the elusive swordsmanship NPC resides, feeling the same unsettling aura as before. The NPC's shadowed face and intense gaze reinforce his mysterious and creepy nature, making the man uneasy. Despite the discomfort, the man acknowledges the NPC's presence and prepares to engage with him. The NPC silently accepts a cup placed on the table, signaling the start of their interaction and training. The swordsmanship NPC tells the man to use the wooden sword lying behind him, starting the training without delay. He makes it clear that since the man came to learn swordsmanship, long explanations are unnecessary. The man notices the sword's sheath on the ground, readying himself to draw the weapon. He swiftly begins practicing with the wooden sword, showing his focus and determination to learn. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of fun content starting today. The man explains the swordsmanship quest has 2 stages, swinging and sparring, and discusses how long it usually takes to clear it, noting the danger of talking back to Balder. A clip shows a drunken man threatening to slice another, who calmly chooses to be sliced horizontally, highlighting the NPC's deadly seriousness. The man realizes that an NPC who teaches skills can also engage in player killing, surprising viewers with how advanced he is. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of exciting content from now on. The mission fund surpasses 800,000 won, motivating the man to complete the archery mission in 25 minutes, doubling the challenge. The man grips a wooden sword, taking a deep breath as he prepares to begin his swordsmanship training. He closes his eyes briefly, centering himself before starting the rigorous practice ahead. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner and promises viewers plenty of fun content starting today. Balder never expected much from novice swordsmen in terms of ability, revealing his low opinion of beginners. Most players he met believed swords were the safest choice, showing a common but naive mindset among them. Seeing players act that way was incredibly insulting to Balder, exposing his frustration with their attitudes. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers plenty of fun content starting today. The man confronts the swordsmanship NPC, sensing the same eerie aura and preparing himself mentally for the training ahead. The NPC silently accepts a cup placed on the table, signaling the beginning of their swordsmanship interaction. The NPC tells the man to use the wooden sword behind him, insisting that since he came to learn, long explanations are unnecessary. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. A linked quest unlocks, stating the player must defeat swordsman Balder in a sparring match, with difficulty adjusted to their level. The man notices the Stage 2 quest has arrived, marking the next step in his swordsmanship training. He realizes the mission was a success, but chat warns that completing it in under a minute might void the challenge. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising viewers exciting content starting today. The man questions whether doubling the challenge is a wise decision, expressing doubt about the increased difficulty. A comedic scene shows the man falling from a helicopter, as a donation challenge offers double prize money if he defends 4 times, or else he and Loafer must do bungee jumping. He reflects that defending 4 times might be tough if his skill affects the mission's difficulty. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man reacts with confusion and unease to Black Dragon's sudden touch and smile, He nervously questions Black Dragon's suspicious, squinty eyes, worried about his intentions. Black Dragon reassures him that he won't be forced to do bungee jumping despite the challenge stakes. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising exciting content for viewers starting today. Black Dragon suddenly places a hand on the man's shoulder, causing him to feel uneasy and suspicious of his intentions. A generous donation adds 1,000,000 won to the mission fund, surprising everyone and boosting the challenge's stakes. The man looks shocked as he calculates the total mission fund has reached 1.8 million won, realizing the challenge just got tougher. The man faces the swordsmanship NPC, who silently acknowledges him, setting a serious tone for the upcoming training. He tightly grips the wooden sword, readying himself to begin the demanding swordsmanship practice. As he draws the wooden sword, it starts to glow, signaling the activation of his sword skill. The wooden sword transforms, emitting a radiant aura that marks the official start of his swordsmanship training. The man leaps into action, his foot striking the ground with force as he channels energy into his movement. His step creates a powerful shockwave, demonstrating his growing control over his abilities. He swings his wooden sword, releasing a swirling aura that intensifies his attack, showing his swordsmanship skill activating. The man charges forward with determination, his sword glowing as he prepares to engage fully in the training. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man unleashes a powerful sword strike, sending a shockwave that shatters the ground and rocks around him. He follows up with a fierce attack, knocking his opponent off balance with a swift, glowing sword swing. The onlooker is shocked by the man's unexpectedly fierce attack, questioning if this was always his true strength while chat nervously wonders if it's a bug. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers exciting content starting today. The man fiercely grips his wooden sword, showing intense determination as he clashes it with force. Loafer reacts with shock and amazement, shouting that the man managed to hold on during the tough moment. The man exhales deeply, relieved after enduring the intense challenge and holding his ground. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man prepares for his swordsmanship training, raising his arms with fierce determination. He clashes wooden swords with his opponent, initiating the sparring match. The wooden swords collide with force, signaling the intensity of the battle. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his streaming partner, promising exciting content for viewers starting today. The man forcefully strikes the ground, demonstrating his growing power and readiness for the swordsmanship challenge. He acknowledges that learning the haste skill has been crucial for his swift and agile movements in battle. The wooden sword cuts through the air, highlighting the strength and precision of his swordsmanship technique. The swordsmanship NPC questions if the man is acting leisurely because this situation caught him off guard. The man nervously replies that the unexpected nature of the situation applies to him as well, sensing a taunt. The NPC admits he misjudged the man's true identity, indicating a serious change in how he views him. The NPC vows to end the fight quickly and immediately unleashes a powerful strike, forcing the man to defend. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers exciting content and fun starting today. The man confidently declares that the true outcome of the challenge won't be revealed until the very end. He fiercely clashes swords with his opponent, their blades sparking with powerful energy as the battle intensifies. He urgently calls out to his brother while delivering a strong sword strike, showing his determination and strength. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man narrowly dodges a deadly strike, causing relief and shock among observers who realize how close the call was. The man struggles to keep up as Black Dragon's physical abilities prove overwhelming, making him question if this battle feels like a Souls-like game. The opponent senses the man's anxiety growing and prepares to finish the fight quickly, confident in his advantage. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man executes a powerful downward strike, creating a shockwave that forces his opponent to react quickly. The swordsmanship NPC reacts with surprise, clearly caught off guard by the man's sudden attack. The man notices his movements have become larger and more forceful, indicating his growth in skill and confidence. The man summons a sword that crackles with electric energy, catching his opponent's attention with its sudden power. He acknowledges the danger of his attack but remains focused, preparing to use this power to gain the upper hand. Despite the risk, he pushes forward with a determined expression, aware that this move could turn the tide of the battle. Both combatants spring into action, their feet pounding the ground as they engage in a fierce and fast-paced fight. The man unleashes a powerful, electrified sword strike that radiates intense energy, demonstrating his growing strength and determination. He follows up with a swift, forceful attack, showing his relentless focus in the battle. The wooden swords clash with tremendous force, emphasizing the intensity of their sparring match. The impact shatters the wooden swords, highlighting the overwhelming power behind their strikes. The man gasps sharply, showing his intense focus and effort in the battle. His eyes widen with shock and realization as the fight reaches a critical moment. He stands firmly, dust and debris swirling around him, ready to continue the challenge. Despite the fierce clash, he manages to block for consecutive attacks, proving his resilience and skill even as his wooden sword breaks. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising exciting content and fun for viewers starting today. The man joyfully declares the quest a success, relieved after completing the challenge. He lies back, exhausted, pondering the quest's outcome, his money, and what Balder might be doing. The duel ends when the wooden sword breaks, marking the quest's completion despite the intense fight and Balder losing his cool. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be passed on to Yullio, indicating an important transfer of power. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content from now on. One brother excitedly asks if the other is really giving him something valuable, and the other warmly confirms it. They recall first meeting in the military, reinforcing their close relationship and shared history. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man explains that the chat is guessing his job, listing roles like chef, assassin, hitman, special forces, and samurai, though he doubts the guesses make sense. When asked if all the quest money goes to Black Dragon, the man confirms that it does without hesitation. The other questions why he would take all the profit when it's supposed to be split, but the man says it's fine since the quests were completed with pure physical skill. The man reacts with surprise as he realizes others didn't expect him to succeed, highlighting the disbelief surrounding his actions. A viewer donates a large sum, encouraging him to keep using the sword so they can learn by watching his technique. He warmly thanks the supporter and promises to continue using the sword frequently, showing appreciation and commitment. The man quietly turns away, lost in thought as he processes the recent events and what they mean for him. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man observes that his opponent looks angry, though he tries to keep it under control. He realizes the opponent is quietly holding back his rage despite the intense situation. The man thinks the opponent is blaming himself for having his movements read by a newcomer like him. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising to deliver lots of fun content from now on. A man wearing a wide-brimmed hat tells the other to wait here, signaling a pause before the next event. The man notices his opponent is clenching his teeth to hide his anger, realizing the next challenger will bear the consequences. Oxbell presents a significant book to the man, urging him to take it as an important transfer of power. Loafer introduces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising to deliver lots of fun content from now on. The quest is complete with rewards upgraded to the maximum, granting gold, a unique swordsmanship training book, and additional stat points. A viewer donates a large amount, requesting swordsmanship tutoring, and the man acknowledges the support, promising to continue using the sword. The man asks others to do some reactions as he has something left to do, catching the blonde man off guard. A man wearing a wide-brimmed hat is told to wait here, signaling a pause before the next event. The man notices his opponent clenching his teeth to hide his anger, realizing the next challenger will face consequences. The man asks if there should be something left, implying an expectation of remaining power or items. The opponent remains silent, arms crossed, showing a calm but tense demeanor. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be passed on to Yullio, emphasizing the importance of this transfer. He hands over a cloth and instructs to show it to Yullio if they meet him, ensuring the message is delivered. The man wearing a wide-brimmed hat assures that Yullio will at least listen to what is said when shown the cloth. The cloth unfolds, revealing a green sword symbol, representing the master's mark and the significance of the message. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers exciting content from now on. The man asks the blonde man to do a reaction as they prepare to head back to the city. A viewer donates money, mentioning being tormented by Balder and vowing never to ask for tutoring again. The blonde man wonders if the next destination is Baldur's Master, surprised by this unexpected revelation. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man says he must get some sleep before work and promises to return tomorrow. His companion agrees they ran a long time and urges him to come back after work, but the man admits he can't. A digital logout confirmation appears, signaling the end of the current session. The man is sweating heavily and thinks about showering and sleeping, questioning if he overexerted himself on the swordsmanship quest even though it didn't deeply affect him. He hears his phone ringing and turns to check it, surprised by the unexpected call. The message he reads praises his great job today, promises immediate payment, and says the sender is going straight to bed. A deposit notification confirms 3 million KRW was transferred to his account, but he thinks the payment could have been made later in a bundle. A deposit of 3 million KRW is confirmed in his bank account, leaving him stunned by the unexpected payment. He looks at his phone in disbelief, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of donations from viewers. He nervously holds his phone, realizing that the donations from yesterday and today are far more than he anticipated. Reflecting on his actual playtime of only about 10 hours, he questions whether it might be okay to skip work. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising to show viewers lots of fun content starting today. The man feels he has finally returned to the reality he deeply wanted, though he's surprised at considering going back there. He apologizes to viewers but decides to keep streaming only as a hobby, despite receiving critical comments calling Black Dragon crazy and a scammer. Worried about Yanhwa's care, he reacts to a viewer's generous donation of 3 million won, who urges him to keep streaming. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising to deliver lots of fun content starting today. The man thinks about how his mother would be more relieved if he had a proper job, reflecting on his current situation. He smiles softly, feeling it would be nice to show filial piety like this sometimes despite his uncertain future. Suddenly, a woman shouts his name loudly, catching him completely off guard. Loafer announces Black Dragon as his new streaming partner, promising to show viewers lots of fun content starting today. A woman angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up a phone to confront the man. The man notices a deposit notification of 3 million KRW in his bank account, clearly surprised by the unexpected payment. The woman scolds the man for staying up all night and accuses him of doing something bad behind her back. The woman accuses the man of gambling to make so much money suddenly, but he insists that's not true. He reminds her that Yanhwa gave him a gift to play a game together, which they streamed. Since the streaming reaction was better than expected, he earned some money from it. He tries to reassure his mother that he's not the type to do anything illegal, though she remains upset. Kong Hanbit insists they should talk again after their mother returns from work, urging the other to prepare for their own job as well. She seriously emphasizes the importance of this conversation, showing her concern about the situation. When the other expresses sincerity, she reassures that she does believe them but is simply worried about them overworking. Her concern stems from care, not disbelief, as she worries the other is pushing themselves too hard. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man. The man reassures her not to worry, telling her she no longer has to carry the debt alone. He promises to work hard and make sure she lives in comfort, showing his sincere determination. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone in frustration. The man reflects on his past struggles, having fought for his life through 55 regressions and reincarnations in another world, making current reality feel lighter. He doubts whether it makes sense for an intern to be spacing out at work, feeling the pressure from his boss. His boss harshly tells him to get his act together, reminding him this is a workplace, which frustrates him deeply. He finds the contents difficult but neatly organized, so he has no major problems understanding them. Just as he is about to start working, the team leader suddenly calls him over. The team leader calls him a trial version and bullies him about things unrelated to work. The team leader dismisses him by ordering him to go downstairs and buy some coffee. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone in frustration. The man nervously asks the team leader what kind of coffee he should get. The team leader expresses annoyance with a sharp sound. He reminds the man that everyone drinks iced Americano here, referencing a colleague's lesson. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone in frustration. The man worries that his team leader plans to use Lee Miho to bully him if he shows any weakness. Though it's just an errand to buy coffee, he feels weighed down by the burden. After returning with the coffee, he sees Lee Miho being scolded by the team leader, who treats it as a routine occurrence. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man. The man hesitates but then slowly opens his mouth, preparing to explain his situation. He admits that with his current workload, he doesn't think he can handle any more responsibilities. The team leader scolds Lee Miho for being selective about his work, throwing papers around in frustration. Kong Hanbit demands an explanation for the large sum of money, her anger and frustration evident as she confronts the man. The man is ordered by the team leader to get coffee, enduring insults and feeling the weight of workplace bullying. He nervously asks what kind of coffee to buy, learning everyone drinks iced Americano, and feels the pressure of the team leader's control. After returning with coffee, he sees the team leader scolding Lee Miho, while sensing the leader's glare carries a knowing, harsh judgment. They finished organizing the documents and returned to their seats. But Lee Miho's feelings seemed complicated and hard to read. Reflected on the monitor screen, Lee Miho's eyes looked emptier than ever, showing how drained and worn out he truly was. The protagonist apologizes to Kang Hanbit for revealing his vulnerable and troubled side, feeling regret for showing his weakness. Kang Hanbit comforts him, saying the team leader must be in a bad mood today, but the protagonist admits there are deeper reasons for his apology. Kang Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man with frustration. The man explains that the new project the team leader gave him is on the development side, which will require a lot of time and effort. He apologizes to Kang Hanbit, admitting he won't be able to properly take care of her from now on due to the demanding workload. Kang Hanbit asks if the new project is related to RP, and the man confirms it involves the gear industry but requires him to personally manage a complex machine for a long time. The man expresses confidence that he might be able to help with the problem, indicating a readiness to take on responsibility. The setting shifts to a calm evening, emphasizing a transition or pause in the story's pace. He firmly steps forward, symbolizing determination and readiness to face upcoming challenges. While waiting at the bus stop, he checks his phone, preparing for what lies ahead in his journey. Kang Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, clearly frustrated and seeking answers. The man reacts with surprise and confusion, unsure how to respond to Kang Hanbit's sudden confrontation. A cheerful young man greets him warmly, asking if his work went well, trying to bring some lightness to the moment. The man forces a tired smile, hiding his exhaustion despite the friendly greeting. Kang Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, confronting the man with clear frustration and urgency. The man arrives at the coffee shop, marking a brief break from the pressures of his difficult workday. He exhales deeply, expressing how exhausting and challenging his social life has become under constant stress. A friend asks if things are really that bad, and the man admits he could fill an entire stream just complaining about his team leader's behavior. Kang Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, holding up her phone to confront the man with frustration. The man eagerly shows the phone, announcing the many messages they have received since the previous stream. He explains that numerous companies have contacted them, highlighting the overwhelming interest from various businesses. The man reveals that a major corporation, Yanhua Gaming, is offering a starting salary of 100 million won, surprising the protagonist. A concerned friend notices the protagonist's tense expression and asks what happened at work, sensing something is wrong. The protagonist remains silent, unable to open up about his troubles despite the friend's concern. The friend urges him not to hide anything and to just tell the truth, pressing for honesty. The protagonist tries to deny hiding anything, but the friend insists it's obvious when he's lying. Kang Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man with frustration. The man nervously insists he didn't mean any harm and tries to calm her, showing his unease with the confrontation. Kang Hanbit urges him not to hide his true feelings, grabbing his head firmly to make her point clear despite his protests. A sudden loud scream from the coffee shop interrupts, signaling a surprising or intense moment that adds to the tension. Kang Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man with frustration. The man explains he wanted the protagonist to get a good job, offering a starting salary of 100 million won as an incredibly good offer. The protagonist appreciates the offer but reminds Kang Hanbit that she was the one who suggested they play RP together. He insists it's only right to hear what she wants to do first, showing genuine concern for her feelings and choices. Kang Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, confronting the man with clear frustration and urgency. The man admits that playing the game was much harder than he thought, making little progress, and that he actually prefers watching rather than playing. He acknowledges that the other person is the brightest shining figure in RP, someone he looks up to. He expresses excitement about all the new and thrilling moments that will happen while playing together and wants to share those experiences with others from the sidelines. Kang Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, showing her frustration and urgency by holding up her phone. Kang Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone with clear frustration. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be assigned to Yulio, showing his involvement in the game strategy. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, announcing their new streaming content and promising viewers lots of fun from now on. The protagonist shares his wish to watch from the sidelines and share the exciting moments of playing with Bro, aiming to establish an MCN centered around him. The protagonist explains that a new feature allowing video uploads to Recorder has been added, boosting their ad revenue beyond expectations. He reveals that Bro is currently the most talked about user on Recorder, with their videos gaining significant attention. Their videos are featured at the top, increasing visibility and attracting more viewers to their content. This exposure will inspire more people to watch Bro's gameplay start playing RP, and join their growing community. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, confronting the man with clear frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be assigned to Yulio, showing his involvement in the game strategy. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, announcing their new streaming content and promising viewers lots of fun from now on. The protagonist shares his wish to watch from the sidelines and share exciting RP moments, aiming to establish an MCN centered around him. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man with frustration. The protagonist wonders if clearing the game and putting in effort will finally help him understand everything. He questions why he had to die over and over again like that, showing his deep frustration and confusion. The protagonist and another person are startled by a sudden noise, reacting with surprise and curiosity. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to confront the man with frustration. The protagonist notices he has received a ton of messages again, realizing the hectic life that comes with being popular. He reflects on how the life of a popular person is, as expected, busy and overwhelming. Suddenly confused by new information, the protagonist decides to make a quick call to get answers. Kong Hanbit demands an explanation about the large sum of money, showing clear frustration and urgency by holding up her phone. The protagonist is urged to answer a call, reacting with surprise and concern about the situation. He recalls the vanguard they saw in Edlin, identifying the person with the golden bow. The man explains the vanguard is from a German company called Readjusting, revealing new game faction details. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone with clear frustration. The man denies the spreading rumors that he and Bro conspired beforehand, reacting with disbelief and anger. He vents his frustration by cursing the Readjusting faction and accusing Black Dragon and Loafer of scamming. A player angrily declares there's no one to trust in this world, while a companion tells him to be quiet because it's noisy. Kong Hanbit angrily questions how a quest reward can be first come, first served, doubting the fairness and logic behind such a system. Another player explains calmly that unique rank items wouldn't be handed out so easily, implying the rule is necessary to prevent abuse. The player reveals they were told to quickly consume the reward, but now the expected monsters aren't appearing, suggesting Readjusting's interference, and threatens to retaliate if provoked. It is decided that Black Dragon must hold an explanation broadcast to address the situation, trusting viewers will understand after seeing Readjusting's announcement. Kong Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, clearly frustrated and holding up her phone to emphasize her urgency. It is explained that a company's value depends on how many strong players it possesses, noting that the Ranger has 9,000 combat power, which is low for a ranker but still significant. A man calmly states that there is a way to solve the issue, hinting at a potential strategy or solution. He tells Yinwer to delay the broadcast because he needs to look into something important, causing Yinwer to respond with a questioning expression. Kong Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, showing clear frustration and urgency while holding up her phone. The quiet night outside the apartment buildings contrasts with the tension inside, marking a moment of calm before further developments. Someone rapidly flips through the pages of a thick book, searching for important information or a solution to a pressing problem. A smirk appears, suggesting that a confident or possibly cunning plan is being considered in response to the situation. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, holding up her phone to emphasize her frustration and urgency. The protagonist excitedly finds the information he was searching for in a thick book, feeling confident about the discovery. He decides to investigate the situation personally, preparing to check out the location mentioned in the information. Arriving at the cave, he confirms its location is exactly as he remembered, ready to face whatever awaits inside. The protagonist arrives at the cave, confirming its location exactly as he remembered and preparing to face whatever awaits inside. He notices bomb slimes gathering in one place, realizing there must be a specific reason for their congregation. As he pauses, he contemplates the situation carefully, understanding the danger ahead. Suddenly, he finds the crucial information he was searching for, feeling confident about his discovery and ready to investigate further. The protagonist identifies the Bomb Slime King, a level 7 monster, signaling a significant threat in the area. He recalls that the Bomb Slime King grows by attracting and absorbing regular individuals, explaining its increasing size. Despite this, the number of creatures gathered is far beyond normal, indicating something else is causing the unusual congregation. He realizes there must be another reason behind the excessive number of attracted individuals, prompting him to investigate further. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. The protagonist spots a glowing object on the ground and wonders if it is a monster lure. Examining the object reveals the name Readjusting, confirming the faction behind the lure. It is explained that the monster lure is a one-time use item from a northern dungeon, placed in the cave of the Bomb Slime King, causing the current chaos due to overlapping monster traits. Arriving at the cave, he observes that only bomb slimes are gathered, confirming the unusual monster presence he expected. He focuses his energy and summons a fireball, preparing to attack the monsters with his fire magic. The fireball is launched with force, aimed to clear the area and uncover the cause of the monster congregation. The fireball hits a glowing object on the ground, revealing a monster lure from Rizuhen, explaining the chaos caused by overlapping monster traits. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency while holding up her phone. The protagonist launches a fierce fireball attack to disperse the gathered monsters and reveal the source of the disturbance. The system announces the protagonist's experience and level gains, awarding new titles and stat points after subjugating elite monsters. Kong Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. The video posted in the community about the bomb slimes quickly becomes a hot topic among viewers. The video was filmed in the cave and uploaded anonymously by Yanwer, causing widespread anger toward Rizuhen. The protagonist clarifies he left out the part where he wiped out the bomb slimes, while comments flood with curses against Rizuhen. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic needs to be sent to Yulio, indicating a necessary step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. The miner who dug out the cave where the Bomb Slime King was located is introduced, devastated that the king stole his spot. The protagonist discovers there is no information about the cave, indicating it is a secret or hidden location. He reflects that a guidebook doesn't have to reveal everything, as the key lies in how much adventurer A knows. An enormous amount of information has been recorded, but its accuracy is ambiguous, with some parts deviating from the truth. He feels something was intentionally left out, leading him to wonder about the true identity of Adventurer A. Magic proficiency is the reason everyone avoids magic, as it demands maxing out proficiency to learn the next rank skill. The difficulty of building proficiency in magic is especially atrocious, making it a daunting challenge for most. Because enduring this difficulty is unnatural for humans, most people give up on magic and pursue different skill trees instead. Despite this, the protagonist is told there is a different path for him, implying a unique opportunity or advantage. The protagonist doubts that reaching 100% proficiency in one day is possible, expressing disbelief at such a claim. He and Oxbell react anxiously, begging for confirmation that this is just a lie or a joke, unwilling to accept the truth. The protagonist clarifies that the rank being discussed is the lowest, rank 1, which is already extremely challenging to achieve. Oxbell insists that magic takes at least a month to learn and demands the protagonist open his status window to prove his claim. Kong Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist is shocked and insists this must be a bug, unable to believe reaching 100% proficiency in one day is possible. Kong Hanbit cautions against revealing the protagonist's magic proficiency on the stream, worried it might draw too much aggressive attention. The protagonist questions why they should hide it, feeling the revelation would attract significant interest and possibly aggro. He confidently states his intention to show the audience something interesting, hinting at upcoming exciting developments. Turning to a group of armored figures, the protagonist declares his focus is now on confronting the villains. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell asks everyone to calm down, denying any connection to Rizuhen and promising to bring proof soon. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. They explain that Black Dragon has something to do before finding Baldur's Master and invite viewers to watch together. The young man asks for understanding about a child's behavior and expresses hope that they will soon live together. A woman smiles subtly, showing quiet confidence and gratitude toward the Black Dragon. She thanks the Black Dragon, indicating trust and appreciation for their support. The woman asks what brings the young man today, and he says he hopes to learn the next magic spell, seeking approval. Kong Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. The woman happily confirms the protagonist can learn the next magic spell, surprising everyone with her confident approval. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. The protagonist completes a quest, leveling up and gaining new rewards, impressing everyone with his progress. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to show lots of fun content from now on. A woman advises heading to the magic research lab in the city of Ifrit if stuck, offering a helpful direction. Kong Hanbit demands to know what the large sum of money is, showing clear frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. The protagonist tells the tense group to relax and stop frowning, asking if something bad happened to them all. Several people impatiently demand Oxbell to hand over the spellbook, eager to learn magic quickly. Outside, a crowd watches nervously, acknowledging the ruthless reputation of the Rizuhen group. The protagonist and Oxbell laugh about how incredibly greedy Rizuhen is, sharing a moment of camaraderie. The protagonist warns that Rizuhen might monopolize everything again, and asks Yinwer what sets him apart from Rizuhen. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. A hooded figure prepares to open multiple spellbooks simultaneously, coordinating the moment carefully. A hooded figure and others open several spellbooks at once, preparing for a coordinated magical action. The hooded figure smiles and announces that it's showtime, signaling the start of their plan. Suddenly, the spellbooks ignite in flames, causing chaos and confusion among those present. One person screams that their spellbook is burning, desperately questioning why this is happening as the fire spreads. Kong Hanbit angrily demands an explanation about the large sum of money, showing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, stressing its importance while a woman struggles as a spellbook catches fire and won't go out. He grows angry as the fire spreads, but the shop remains safe, creating a confusing and tense situation. The woman urgently orders everyone to evacuate as panic spreads, with people fearing ruin from the burning spellbooks. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. A man urgently informs the hooded figure that the quest reward has changed, signaling unexpected developments. The quest details show the reward has been downgraded due to Rizuhen's greed, causing suffering even for those who get the spell later. When asked how many people completed the quest, the answer is that no one has succeeded, raising concern about the quest's difficulty. Kong Hanbit angrily demands to know what the large sum of money is, emphasizing her frustration and urgency. Oxbell explains that the fire attribute magic must be sent to Yulio, highlighting an important step in their plan. Loafer introduces himself and his partner Black Dragon, promising to share lots of entertaining content from now on. A hooded figure approaches, causing alarm as others realize they are coming towards them, signaling a tense moment.